Welcome back, everyone. Well, for some of us, leaving a legacy is not something we ponder all the time, but when life becomes limited through serious illness, thoughts of leaving a lasting symbol or passing along wisdom often rise to the surface. Today, we'll be talking about a unique therapy that can help people with illness and their families. With me today, we have Dr. Pay Grant, who's the Director of Research with Hospice Buffalo, and Rachel Depner, who's a Research Assistant with Hospice Buffalo. Good morning. Nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
We have been really talking about a lot of different things that hospice and palliative care offer people, but this is really different. Leaving a lasting legacy, dignity therapy?
Yes, this is a therapeutic intervention that was developed by a Canadian doctor, Dr. Chochinov, where it assists, patients facing serious illness, navigate through the whole process while maintaining their sense of dignity and well-being.
Okay.
And individuals are interviewed about things that are important to them, things that are meaningful, words of wisdom that we would like to leave behind, and, important messages that they want to leave for their family, and it's left in a written document for their families to enjoy in the future.
I would imagine as the patient starts thinking about it, they can really start thinking of a lot of things they want to put in there.
Yes, and so this is a guided interview structure between a therapist and the patient themselves, and so it usually takes about 30 to 60 minutes, and they ask a series of open-ended questions that encourage the patient to talk about the meaning of life, the most meaningful aspects that they want to share with their family.
Why would you think that this is important?
Well, going through this time is often a very challenging time, especially when you're facing a serious illness and you want to be able to leave something that your family and loved ones can, remember you by.
Okay. Now, Rachel, what types of questions are asked in dignity therapy to help the patient?
Now, we usually like to start pretty broad. So you say, tell me about your life history, memorable moments, things that are important to you, or a time you felt most alive.
Yeah.
And this can really let them go, whatever's important to them or whatever kind of pops into their head. Something that comes into mind, a follow-up question, you ask, what are your hopes and dreams for your loved ones?
Yeah.
And it can be, again, general, just wisdom you're passing on, or one story that comes to mind, I had a mom who still had teenage daughters. So she left personal messages to them. On your wedding day, read this. When you have your first baby, read this. When you miss me, read this. Oh. And these are ways she can still be intimate and part of their lives from, the rest of their time.
And how can family members assist? Can they say, I would love to help you with this, or I want to be a part of this?
Oh, definitely. And really, what they do, it's up to them. Sometimes it's one-on-one. It may be something you want to work on special to leave for your family, so they may keep it a secret, and that's kind of exciting for them. They have this gift they can give them. But a couple comes to mind, they've been married 50 years, over 50 years. Their lives are so entwined, and they just said, we're going to do this together.
Wow. Can you tell us about the research that Hospice Buffalo conducted to show the benefits of dignity therapy?
Well, this type of research has already been well established, but what we saw as a team was this great value that we can have for our hospice patients. And so our study was developed to see the feasibility of implementing this therapy with our hospice home care patients. And Linda, I would have to say that the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive from our patients, our families, and our clinicians. And if you don't mind, I would like to share some of what a patient has to say.
Love to hear it.
So one patient says, dignity therapy will give me pleasure and comfort until the day I die. Knowing that I have this little secret, this little book to give to them is therapeutic for me, and it will be therapeutic for my family. Hospice offers a lot of good things. And a husband of a different patient said, thank you so much for taking the time to work with my wife on this book. I know it's something she really wanted to do, but always said she was too sick to do. Now we have her words forever.
Oh my gosh, and if you hold this up, I want everybody to see how it's all laminated so you can have it forever. And it says, look, Jane Smith, an interview recorded for her loved ones on April 30th, 2013. That's beautiful. That's
yes,
really
it's a very meaningful experience for the family.
And if it wasn't for hospice or palliative care, I can see where the family itself, they're caught up in what's going on. They're not in a position to do this. They're not. Their heads aren't where. I mean, they're busy being moms, dads, wives, husbands, and to be able to come in and have the patient get excited about this.
Yes.
I'm leaving this. This is important. That really is a win-win situation, I think, for everybody.
It really is.
Yeah.
The patients, have something that they can offer to their families that they can keep and cherish forever.
Okay, and Rachel, let me ask this. How is it brought up with a patient if you'd like to have dignity therapy?
Well, a clinician can refer it. We have a whole team at hospice. They're constantly coming and going, checking in with the patient, seeing what their needs are. And maybe, somebody's well enough to do this on their own. They don't need us to help. But some of them don't even know it's an option.
Yeah.
Clinicians are in there checking in. What can we do for you? How can we help you? With dignity and grace.
And is this a patient too holding up hers?
Yes, it is.
Wonderful. She looks so happy, and it's such a sense of accomplishment. All right, everybody, listen, when we come back, we're going to talk more about dignity therapy and how you can learn more about this, so please stay with us. Well, today we're talking about dignity therapy, a unique way to help patients with serious illness leave a legacy for their families and friends. With me, we have Dr. Pay Grant and Rachel Depner, who are both with the research department at Hospice Buffalo. Rachel, what do you think you have learned from working with patients and their families facing serious illness who have gone through this?
I've learned so much, Linda. You have no idea. I mean, it's kind of cliche, but life is short. We keep thinking we have infinite tomorrows, and we don't. But today is here right now. And every patient I interact with, every family I talk to, it just kind of hits me in the face, live your life right now. So when you are looking back on it, you have lots of happy stories to share.
And Rachel, it speaks too of the fact that people need to be calling hospice sooner than they do. A lot of people think it's time to call hospice when their loved one may be looking at 1 week of life. And that's not the case. We want hospice in there much, much, much earlier, because hospice is about living. And that is the most important thing that we can impart to you. Pay, what other types of research is Hospice Buffalo working on?
Well, we have a number of different projects that we have, in our department, and what we do is that, when you think about hospice and palliative care, the essence of this type of care is to maintain and promote a good quality of life for our patients and our families. And so oftentimes we have this tendency to want to focus on just, alleviating symptoms that are physical, but really when we treat a patient, we should treat them mind, body, and soul. And so with research, we're able to look at things that influence factors of distress, not just physical, but things that are psychological, things that are spiritual, that can provide opportunities to improve our care. So we have different projects that do address these elements of quality of life. So for example, we have a project about end-of-life dreams and visions that patients have. We have one where we're trying to understand the caregiving experience of our family caregivers. And another one is about the wisdom that hospice patients has to offer to people who are in similar situations, people who are taking care of seriously ill individuals. So these are all different types of projects that we have to help, improve the quality of care that we give to our families.
Yes. And we want to also let people know that if you're wondering where hospice care is, it's everywhere. It can be in the home, it can be in a hospital, it can be in a nursing home, wherever you need hospice, hospice can be there for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's one of the wonderful things about this service. And also, and I will tell you at the end of the segment too, that hospice is covered through Medicare, Medicaid, and most insurance companies cover it in total. So do not think this would be a wonderful thing, but I can't afford it. This is something that's available for everyone. And hospice care is unique, and it's different for everybody. And it can be a huge help to the family when serious illness is happening, because through palliative care, these folks can come in and take care of the patient's needs, while those family members, it kind of relieves them of being the caregiver, so to speak, and they can be mom and dad and spouse.
Exactly.
And I really believe from seeing it firsthand that the patient really has a wonderful bond with the hospice volunteer, and in some ways, this is easier with their situation relating with a hospice volunteer. Sometimes they can talk to you better than they can talk to a family member, and they can share things. So it's really a beautiful relationship. And every person I've ever met from hospice has always felt privileged to be a part of someone's life. And like you were saying, it enriches you. And I think that just makes you such a special person, both of you, and everybody that I've met from hospice. These people in your life, because they can help you so much. How many people do you think have taken you up on this dignity therapy How many people are involved in this right now, whether patients or caregivers?
Well, for our research study, we've done, I think, 15 to 20 documents for our patients and their families, and so this is something that is just in a research context, but in the future what we hope to do is, seeing that the feedback has been so positive, that we're translating this into something that we can offer everyone outside of research, that all our families can be able to participate in such a meaningful activity.
You know, we have such a great hospice here in West New York. I think that we do groundbreaking work. I think the work that you find, especially the other topics for the therapies, like the one that you had mentioned before about end of life, so interesting. We're doing research on this that I think other people are going to want to see down the road, but we're doing it here in Western New York, and this therapy is available, and that's so important. Pei and Rachel, thank you so much. We always learn so much when you folks come on, and I think a lot of people are so grateful that we do have the hospice and palliative care group that we have here in Western New York. Listen, everybody, next week we're going to be talking with Hospice Buffalo about coping with grief during the holidays, so please stay with us for that. And remember, anyone can call Hospice Buffalo for a free visit to learn more about hospice and palliative care. And again, Medicare, Medicaid, and most insurance companies cover this care in full. So find out today how palliative care and hospice care can help you. For more information, call them right now at 686-8000. That's 686-8000. It's the care your loved one deserves.